Oh me, oh my, what's up folks? Hope we're all doing well. As per usual, welcome back to the show. Wanted to have a fun little segment out there talking about the future of what is the ENVY and OpTic merger. Now, I haven't thought too in depth of exactly what I'm going to say here, but I think it's a very interesting debate and just a giant question mark to ask all of you guys. What do you think the future is of ENVY and OpTic? We now, of course, have for the CDL, that's going to be not Dallas OpTic, not OpTic Dallas, but yes, OpTic Texas, which for one, I feel like no one's really lingering on the point that we have an entire organization now named after not just a city-based franchise model, but an entire state. And no one really has said, what the frick is going on there? It's obviously pretty crazy. Now, I did explain to you guys in a thread on Twitter some of the news around this deal, which I'll read off for all of you, and then we'll hop back to the main point here being, what is the future of two giant esports organizations now being, well, kind of one organization? What does that mean for the future? And no, we've never seen this before, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they work these things out. As I was communicated to directly from ENVY, so huge shouts to them. So the CDL team, of course, will go by OpTic Texas, and ENVY and OpTic have also acquired the Chicago slot, which is expected to sell before upcoming season with multiple interested parties. So as of right now, and we have ironically seen this in the past, I believe when OpTic was first acquired, they had, I believe it was a couple Overwatch teams, I think were a conflict of interest, and a couple CSGO rosters were a conflict of interest, but my mind is a bit hairy stretching that back that far, which they had to sell off because, hey, you cannot own two teams or even two slots. It's a conflict of interest. Now, they do have the Chicago slot, so evidently it seems NRG has parted ways with that. The Washington deal did shut down, so it makes you wonder, who is left out there, right? Is it going to be a dock team? Most likely not, but apparently several interested parties, so they will be selling off that Chicago slot to a different team out there. And also, Hastro has confirmed for now, the Empire brand is dead. They might bring it back in the future for something else, but it's Nixnay, and we believe the same to be for the Huntsmen, so whoever this new 12th slot team is, it's probably going to be a brand new team, brand new brand. What I'm wondering is what they're going to frickin' pay for the spot. OpTic Texas was decided and negotiated for as it expands their marketing rights in the CDL to a larger portion of Texas. This includes exclusivity in a sense of Austin, Texas, meaning no other teams can have their city be Austin. And this one's probably a bit more complex. I don't know how the marketing or CDL rights work to how teams promote themselves or brand themselves in the space, but if I'm a team right now, I mean, it's exclusivity for the city of Austin, but if I'm a CDL team realizing the power that is ENVY and OpTic in the CDL, especially with that branding, I am not only not going to step inside of Austin, I'm probably not going to go anywhere near Texas when there is literally a CDL team now named OpTic Texas. I think they have pretty well established themselves as the entire state when it comes time for a CDL team, but hey, someone else might try and step in. That would be pretty crazy. Also pretty exciting, a couple points here. Formal and Karma officially are OpTic creators still. Hecz also remains the president of OpTic and an owner in the newly merged company. By the way, Post Malone is also still a co-owner and investor in ENVY, as well as now the new merger on top of that. Very excitingly, OpTic is also possibly going to be used in other esports moving forward, but more is still to be determined on this in the coming months, with the complication of having both brands under one umbrella. And this is a big one that I wanted to talk about, actually a focus for this video. Curious what you guys think as well. What the frick do you do when you join two gigantic names under one umbrella as one esports organization? But hey, what if you ever want to enter a brand new esport out there? What becomes the future of those esports? I look mainly towards, of course, it seems according to George, and it does seem very true that Valorant, an established FPS esport that ENVY has done quite well in so far, that will stay ENVY. But if you look towards CDL and Warzone with the signing of Teep and Seb, and of course you've got Z-Laner on there as well, the transition of Bobby Poff, so all of those streamers that formerly were ENVY and now a new one in Z-Laner in Warzone, boom, they're going to be OpTic. That makes sense when it comes time for a Call of Duty brand. CDL and Warzone are going to be OpTic only. But all of a sudden you realize, is this the same issue they had with NRG where it was only ever going to be Call of Duty? What happens if you expand into other esports? Is it going to be ENVY or is it going to be OpTic? Is it going to be an awkward choice to make? And does that kind of have a vampire effect of, you're bleeding dry one brand just to feed the other. That is a genuine concern I do have. If they come back to CSGO, it probably should be OpTic, but then if you're ENVY Hastro and ENVY board members, I mean, have you decided what the future is going to be? If OpTic is the more popular brand, should everything be OpTic? Or is everything that's established as ENVY going to forever stay as ENVY? I am so glad I'm not in those shoes to decide what the future of OpTic/ENVY is going to be, because you now have so many different brands. Which one is the best for the future? So this one is a real curious one to me. I would be lying if I didn't tell you guys I was a bit concerned by the passing around of the OpTic brand. I love the brand. I think it has a gigantic future. I am super excited for OpTic Texas, but where do they go from here is still lingering in their future, and I'm excited to see where exactly they decide and what they decide to do with now two massive brands for the first time ever being one. What do y'all think about it till next time? Do me a favor, all right? Drink some water, drink some coffee. I'll catch you back here sometime soon. Take care.